Manchester United's season has been encapsulated by being a team of two halves. Great in the first half, absolutely diabolical in the second half, and it's led to several inconsistent moments throughout games that have seen us drop key points from winning positions. And today is no different, right? Today was a game of two halves, but not the way we've grown to learn of this team. No, today, Man United were diabolical in the first half. Diabolical. That first 45 minutes is down there with anything Amorim and his side have served us over the last year and a half. Horrible. But going into the second half, all of a sudden, a flick switched. And for the first time, I think this year, Man United were much better in the second half than in the first. Now, why was that the case? Was anything changed? Were there any changes that made it happen? We'll go into all of that. But today, Man United have won 2-1 against Crystal Palace. And if you had told me at the start of the weekend, right? Or rather, at the start of last weekend, that going into this week where we would play Everton on Monday at home, a game that would end up, by the way, where we would play against 10 men for 80 minutes, and then play Crystal Palace away, a side that have been flying throughout the season, I would have probably told you, we're going to batter Everton and we're going to struggle against Crystal Palace, a team which I believe we haven't won in a long time, by the way, right? When is the last time we beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park? I couldn't tell you. Are we thinking Ollie days? It's been a long time since we've gone to Selhurst Park, no matter who the manager is, and actually got a result there. So that's cause for celebration, and the win is cause for celebration. But the performance in totality is so bizarre, and honestly, I'm happy that we won, but I'm not really sure what to make of that performance. And that's because it was so night and day from one half to the other. It was so Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It was so, why couldn't you do that in the first half like you did in the second half? It's a weird one of Man United, right? That first half, in the first minute, we actually could have scored a goal through Casemiro off a set piece. And we'll talk about set pieces because that's being something that's defining our season as well too. But outside of that early chance from Casemiro, I thought we were really, really poor in those first 45 minutes. And I think we were poor from a tactical point of view. I think we were poor from an individual point of view. I think we were poor from an effort point of view. For 45 minutes, I thought Crystal Palace were the superior team. They had chances. They were easily nullifying us from an attacking point of view. They were easily breaking up our play. They were controlling the game, especially Adam Morton, who I thought had a fantastic first half. And Mateta, I thought, was holding up the ball exceptionally well against De Ligt, bringing his team up the pitch. For 45 minutes, we watched them play. And I think there's a few reasons for that. I think Amorim, this was a big game for him, right? Because you're up against the guy who plays a very similar formation to you. It's a different execution of the system entirely, but the formation is similar. And there's been so much talk about how Amorim deploys his three at the back compared to how Glasner deploys his three at the back. And I think this game was a real telling sign of, well, who's the better three at the back manager? That first 45 minutes, there is not a doubt in my mind that Amorim was getting schooled by Glasner. But not just Amorim. His players today in those first 45 minutes were nowhere to be seen. And it's the first time I thought in those first 45 minutes that I looked at the players and thought to myself, ooh, you're not playing for the manager. That's something I haven't said about these players under Amorim. I think under Ten Hag, they gave up on him a while before he got sacked. But today was the first time in those first 45 minutes I looked at the players and said, a few of you guys, I think you know his days are numbered. You're shying out of tackles. You're not really working that hard. I was watching Ahmad walk around the pitch at times. No one was really closing down players. We were playing at half speed. It was really interesting for me because I thought, oh, you know, when you start to lose the dressing room, what hope do you really have as a manager? And I thought to myself, is this really the first sign we're seeing that these players have just completely given up on this manager? They get a goal. It's a sloppy tackle from Leny Yoro. By the way, his second moment really over the last week where I think he's looked less than impressive. But similar to the Everton game where I thought he was poor in failing to break down or tackle, Dewsbury Hall, I think this mistake, while it is primarily his mistake, is another mistake that happens due to a continuation of mistakes higher up the pitch, right? So at the same time, Yoro has to do better, man. People are going to say he slipped, but he shouldn't be letting Mateta get goal side the way he does in the first place. Mateta gets the penalty. The first one is actually disallowed because it's a double hit, but due to the new FIFA regulations and rules, double hits now count as the penalty taker being able to retake the penalty. He makes no mistake the second time either. 1-0 Crystal Palace, and I think it was fully deserved. I think over those first 45 minutes, Man United were so far behind Crystal Palace, it was crazy. This game could have been 2 or 3-0 in the first half. Going into the second half, you're thinking, can it get any worse? But actually, it got a lot better. That second half for Man United was far, far better than the first. And I think there was one tweak I really noticed from Amorim, and that was kind of the positioning of Zirkzee and Mbemo. Zirkzee in the first half was maybe the worst player on the pitch. Similar to against Everton, couldn't make the ball stick, physically dominated by the likes of Richards and Guéhi and Lacroix, absolutely could not get anything going. And for a player who I believe, well, we know Zirkzee's best attributes are his close control, are his passes, right? He is a technical player, so to speak. You didn't see any of that on display in that first half. And it was very similar, in my opinion, to the game against Everton, where we're throwing long balls to him, hoping for him to kind of lay it off to Mbemo or lay it off to a Bruno or get the team up the pitch, and he's just unable to do it. The first half, I'm not going to lie, if they had taken him off at halftime for a false nine, maybe Mount up front, I wouldn't have blamed you. But I think the second half, he started to grow into the game a little bit more, started to make it stick a little better, and he actually grabs the first goal of the game for us, which comes from a set piece. Bruno plays a nice little dink over the top into the left-hand channel. Zirkzee controls it, and look, it's not like Bruno puts it on a play for him. It's like the Foden, wow, he put it on a play for him, right? It's not a great assist from Bruno, right? But he plays it into a decent enough channel for Zirkzee. Zirkzee controls it, almost facing away from goal, and then turns with his left foot and smashes it across goal. Nothing Dean Henderson can do about it. And just like that, Man United, from out of nowhere, are really back into this game. Yes, they started the second half a lot better, but in general, it wasn't like United were carving open Crystal Palace. That was a goal really out of brilliance from Joshua Zirkzee. But from that moment, I think Man United started to get a foothold in the game. They started to control the ball a lot better. They started to keep Crystal Palace out a lot better, which I think was the biggest thing about this game. And then, eventually, the second goal comes, again from a set piece. Bruno this time just slightly laying it off for Mason Mount, smashes it low and hard. Dean Henderson sees it late, 2-1 Man United. And in a flash, a game that looked completely out of Man United's hands is now 2-1 for Man United. It's a great comeback. Man United see out the game. Again, I think the most impressive part about that second half was the fact that they actually kept the ball. They kept it well, they kept it calm, and they kept Crystal Palace away from their goal. I don't think Man United had a second half where they blitzed Crystal Palace. We didn't have 15 chances. In fact, I'm actually a little annoyed that after the second goal, we didn't go on and score a third or even create a real chance for the third. I know people will look at Mbemo cutting in and maybe, I don't know, he shot it right at Dean Henderson. Dalot maybe could have had something out of that run. He dives against Richards. But I didn't think United blitzed Crystal Palace. But the reality is today they didn't have to, because that second half, Crystal Palace had nothing for us. We kept them out very, very well. And I think more so than just defending well, which we did, I think we just kept the ball. And when you have the ball, it's very difficult for the opposition to do anything against you, right? That's the name of the game. And I think it's something that United have struggled to do throughout this season. So I give them tremendous credit for the second half. I give Amorim tremendous credit. I give Zirkzee tremendous credit because I think he improved a lot. But overall, I'm not going to lie, I'm happy about the win. I don't really know what to make of it, though, in terms of if you're looking at the bigger picture here. I don't think this changes that much. I still find Man United incredibly inconsistent, and I still find us incredibly poor in certain moments. I don't really think this is going to be a win that platforms United to go win 3 or 4 in a row or to really build off this that much. I don't really see under Amorim where this is going long term. And that's just me being honest, guys. I know a lot of you guys will be very, very positive about today's game. Great comeback. And you're right, it is a great comeback. The team showed great mental fortitude and great mentality in general to come back in that game, right? The first half, I thought they were a million miles off it. The second half, I thought they were much, much better. But I don't really think today, and honestly, a lot of games this season show me a team that's heading in a really positive direction under Amorim. I still feel like we're just about getting away with it, and when we're not, we're getting absolutely embarrassed like we did on Monday. So enjoy the win, enjoy your Sunday, and hopefully our rivals continue to lose today. But man, I don't know, man. I think with United and Amorim, this is kind of a case of just delaying the inevitable. That's where I stand on this entirely. Do I think he's going to get sacked? Not anytime soon, especially because results like this really do buy him time. But yeah, I don't personally see a team from these performances that's on the precipice of doing anything great, personally. That's where I stand. I know a lot of you guys will disagree, but I'm here to give my opinion. I'm not here to appeal to anybody. If I want to look at man of the match today for Man United, I would say man of the match today. It's tough because, again, the first half was so bad that you're really looking at the second half and thinking to yourself, who was the best player? Lamens didn't really do that much wrong, but did he really make any crazy saves? I wouldn't say so. I thought Wharton was really, really good in the first half. Bruno gets the 2 assists, but I didn't think Bruno played a great game. That's a really tough one. I thought it's tough. Let me know, I guess, who's your man of the match. Who did FootMob have it as, right? I'd be interested in knowing, because me personally, I'm really struggling to think of a standout during this game. I really am. I mean, wow. FootMob gave Bruno Fernandes man of the match. I'm not going to lie. I don't really see it. I know Bruno got the 2 assists, which is obviously going to massively boost up his rating. But to be honest with you, I feel like, although it's funny, Bruno has the most assists in the Premier League this season, I actually think we're holding him back a little bit in terms of how I know Bruno can play. Because I just feel like he finds himself in such restricted positions, such limited positions for a player of that creative quality. But fair enough, he won FootMob's Man of the Match. Zirkzee I thought was decent in the second half. Mount similar, right? These guys in the first half were anonymous. The wingbacks, I mean, Ahmad actually played well in the second half. I'll give him that as well too. I don't know, it's a weird game. It's a really, really weird game because in this first half, I thought Crystal Palace were far dominant. And in fact, you can even see it here, right? If we go stats. First half, Crystal Palace 1.7 to 0.99. We were completely out of it. 9 shots, 3 on target, 3 big chances. The second half though, right? I mean... To be honest, actually, it's not like we did that much in the second half either. Both goals that we score are really low XG goals, right? Zirkzee's, yeah. I mean, like I said, we take the 3 points. It's a positive result. It's a good bounce back from the boys, not just in terms of today, but from midweek. But yeah, the ultimate question of Amorim and his team is always, can you actually build off this? To this point, they haven't been able to. Let's see if that can change. Guys, like, share, subscribe. I will be back with an Arsenal versus Chelsea watch along. We'll be doing that on the channel. And then, of course, a review after that. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.